2018 overall was a pretty good year for movies. Some of the best include The Favourite, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and First Reformed, just to name a few. However, there were a fair few stinkers that also released last year. Today, I bring you my personal picks for the top 10 worst movies of 2018. Just as a note, a fair number of these were Netflix originals. Before we start, I'd like to name two dishonorable mentions that deserved to be on the list, but were squeezed out by movies that were worse. These were Candy Jar and When We First Met. Now, onto the list. Number 10 on the list is Gnome Alone. Gnome Alone was so boring I can barely remember it, which really is not a good thing for a 90-minute movie. It is also the worst gnome-related kids movie to be released in 2018, in a year that also featured Sherlock Gnomes. The main complaints I had with the movie was that it was annoying and unimaginative, as well as having forgettable villains. Number 9 on the list is Cloverfield Paradox. Now, I was just as excited as everyone when I heard this was dropping on Netflix after the Super Bowl. However, I wasn't as excited when I finished it. It is clear that J.J. Abrams knew that no one would watch this otherwise, so he added the Cloverfield brand to it and hoped that people would watch it. Just like Gnome Alone, this movie struggles to keep the viewer entertained for its relatively short runtime. It also features the second most unintentionally funny moment of the year, the final shot, only being topped by another movie on this list. Number right on the list is I Kill Giants. This is probably the most controversial pick on the list, as I know people that enjoyed this. However, I just could not get into it. I really did not like the main character. We are supposed to sympathize with her, yet she continues to do things that are mean-spirited towards everyone around her. It also tries to be emotionally powerful, but it doesn't work, leaving me feeling nothing except wanting the movie to end. I really am in the minority in this one, so if you enjoy it, you're not alone. Number 7 on the list is Family Blood. This movie was so boring I've pretty much forgotten all of it. I watched it mainly for James Ransone, an actor whose work I really enjoy, and Blumhouse, who have a pretty good record with horror. The only thing I remember is thinking the ending is stupid, but I forgot what it was because the movie as a whole was so boring. Number 6 on the list is Holmes and Watson. My expectations were low, but holy fuck. The one other Will Ferrell John C. Reilly collaboration I have seen, Talladega Nights, was actually pretty funny. This just goes to show that Adam McKay should be the only one to direct these two. The comedy was constantly annoying, with pointless Donald Trump references and absurdist humor done wrong. Also, somehow this means that in 2018 there was a worse Sherlock Holmes movie than Sherlock Gnomes, and a worse kids movie about gnomes than Sherlock Gnomes. Number 5 is Gotti. Where do we start with this? This movie effortlessly changes from incredibly boring to incredibly entertaining in a so bad it's good way, so seamlessly it's almost impressive. The unfortunate thing is, it never fails to be incredibly stupid. The plot was so incohesive, it was impossible not to check out at numerous points during its runtime. The music is also terrible, as it was done by Pitbull. What a terrible choice. Perhaps the most egregious example of bad music in this movie is when, after being found not guilty in a court case, John Gotti hosts a street party, and they play and interact with a Pitbull song. Ignoring the fact this scene took place in 1983, why would they play a Pitbull song? Is this just what a music gangster's like? I guess I wouldn't know, because I'm not a gangster like John Gotti. Another thing that's been brought up is the dialogue. Ignoring John Travolta repeating such classic lines as, "Ah, motherfucker," he also apparently will park a bus up someone's ass sideways and exclaims at the end of the movie that you will never see another person like him in 4,000 years. I really hope not, if this means I won't have to see another movie like this for another 4,000 years. Another thing I don't get is why everyone in this movie is saying that John Gotti is a good person. You have clearly shown to me that he is not a good person over the course of the runtime, so I don't know why they are doing this. To be fair, I knew going into this that it was going to be bad, but I have no idea how anyone could make a movie this incompetent. Finally, this movie features the most unintentionally funny moment of the year, as during another party, John Gotti says, "Hey, look at the fireworks," and it cuts to stock footage of fireworks. Unbelievable. I guess if you want to laugh, this movie is an alright choice, but if you're looking for a good gangster movie, stay away from this like the plague. Number 4 is Day of the Dead Bloodline. Now, I haven't even seen the original films, but I'm pretty damn sure George A. Romero is rolling in his grave. Featuring the worst acting all year by a landslide, as a fellow movie reviewer that I know said, It sounded like they were reading the lines off a teleprompter. If I remember correctly, the movie also uses rape to advance the plot. Now, I'm not against rape in movies if it's done relatively tastefully, but the way they try and make a rape victim help the man/zombie that raped her is ultimately vile. The movie is, of course, pretty stupid as well, as they effectively bring the rotters through the main gate for some reason. Just stick to the originals or the 28 Days/Weeks series and you'll be fine. Number 3 on the list is Game Over Man. Trying to pay homage to movies like Die Hard, it ends up being more like Skyscraper. Normally, I like gross out humor. For example, Borat is my favourite movie. However, what I don't like is when a movie is overly crass in an unnecessary way, which is exactly what this movie does. I thought that extended zooms on genitals was over in 2003. Adam Devine clearly thinks he's back in this time period, as this is exactly what he does. The characters are also straight out of an asylum production. All they have is that they are loser drug takers. This, of course, makes me not care about any of them. Also, the social media star character really pissed me off. If you're looking for a good raunchy comedy, this isn't it. Number 2 is The Open House. There really isn't much to say about this one. It's basically a tension-free horror movie with a terrible ending. It isn't even laughably bad, it's just plain bad. And number 1 is The Package. This was the only movie from 2018 that I really despised. The characters actively got on my nerves from the start, and they only got more annoying as the movie went on, especially the characters Donnie and Jeremy. The comedy was also consistently unfunny, as I don't recall a single joke that wasn't about a penis. This movie also got me wondering if Netflix just accepts any idea that comes their way. Why else would they accept this? No surprises this came from Adam Devine, who also starred/wrote Game Over Man. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, which was a shame because I had medium expectations, as I really enjoy raunchy comedies. And that concludes my top 10 worst list for 2018. Any feedback would be much appreciated. My top 10 best list for 2018 will be coming soon.